the biggest loss of my career, the nearly $400,000 loss that I took on FFIE here. It is a little bit over a month since I took this loss, and this particular day on the 16th is when kind of disaster hit. What is going on, traders? Welcome back to the Clover YouTube channel. For those who do not know me, my name is Kyle Williams. Without further ado, like and subscribe. Let's jump right in and just talk about it, what I learned from it and everything in between. So while going into the intraday, in fact, I don't even have to go into the intraday. I'll show you the actual trades I took here. And this is again from that actual day on the 16th. Going into today, these candles are right when pre-market started. Those are not wrist prints. That's not just some random computer trading for me. That is literally me waking up 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and literally starting to trade at 1 a.m. in the morning. Why did I think I needed to get up that early to get short so early? In the moment, I thought I was going to die early. Why? FOMO. Right? Never had done that before that early. Yes, I've woken up early before to maybe get out of a position that was overnight quickly or place orders of an exit, in case the stock gets there while I'm sleeping, but never to fully wake up and stay up from that moment forward. And so it resulted in me pretty much being full size before market even opened. This last red candle you see here was me taking a massive position well over an hour and a half before the market even opened. Again, why did I do that? Again, a month later, I can look at myself and just think it was stupidity. But at the time, I was just looking for a big win. I was looking for a huge profit, right? I've talked about numerous times now where on GME and AMC, just a couple days prior, really fading off and getting crushed from, as the highs of, I made money on this day from 60 down to like 50 or 40. But then going even further from 40s down to the 20s, completely missed that. AMC, I did make money from like the 10 to like 7 range, but then missed all of this. It just pent up a lot of frustration, feel like I was underperforming, missed about profits, which again happens. But for whatever reason, I decided to then take that and think FFIE was my savior. FFIE was the one that was gonna not even make my losses back, make my profits back as if I ever had them. Like it was just silly. But that led me to being insanely aggressive, insanely early. It opened up around 80 cents. Didn't even get close to going red, didn't even go below 75. And the next thing you know, this insane volume keeps it grinding. And before you know it, breaks over 90 cents and then breaks over $1. And I froze, deer to headlights, just completely. I had about 400,000 shares total and, about like an 82 average. So by the time it hit over 92, 90, actually 95-ish, I should have maxed stop myself out, right? If you've heard any of my videos, I talk about having some kind of max stop at all. And it's super important, keeps you from risk of ruin, right? Now, for the last year and a half, I had a mental max stop. Now, most of you might think, Kyle, you're so stupid, or that's so silly, like you need someone to take it out of your hands. Of course, now I know that. Unfortunately, I thought I was a little bit more disciplined than that. And the only reason why is because I had done that for over a year and a half, right? Going into 2023, I knew I needed some kind of max stop. I placed it mentally. And every time I got there, I cut it. It happened probably 4 to 6 times, saved me from a ton of bigger losses that could have gone much worse if I didn't. And I didn't have any problem with doing it. I got in a habit of saying, hey, you know what? You've hit your max number of how much you're willing to lose, like at all costs, you get yourself out. And I've done it. This one just had the right concoction of, like I said, FOMO, feel like I missed out from prior moves, on top of the fact of just insane amount of conviction on that this ticker is just an absolute POS and is going to end up back to where it came from in the 4 cent to 5 cent range, in whole mix of sort of feelings, emotions, thoughts. That was the worst concoction you can have, that then led to, my discipline just not existing, right? And so that's what led me to then not cut it at 90 cents, not cut it at 95, not cut it at $1, but eventually cut it all at, what is this, 120-ish? Right, somewhere right here, all these last candle arrows here, and I lose somewhere in the 1 to 200 grand range. And again, when that happens, yes, I break the first rule of obviously not respecting the absolute max stop mentally. Sure, that's fine, that happens, we're human. But then here's where it starts to snowball, is that instead of cutting it off, you're done, you've stopped, the revenge trading, the pitfalls, the tilt is in full force at this point, right? And so I then tried to short back, cover again, shorted again on this parabolic, thinking now that parabolic, this is it, that's dead, that's the top. At this point, again, revenge trading, just trying to recoup any dignity, right? And if we're talking about emotions, any profits or any losses that I had taken, right? Just trying to make my day semi-acceptable, even though it's well beyond that point at that, right? There's no going back at that point. Coming to after hours, and then rips back into the high ones, approaching 2. And so this is me, a minute or 2 before the after hours closes, covering my position, because I now know at this point, like if I haven't cut it yet fully and it's coming back like this, like I am putting myself in a much greater risk than I already am. And so I ate it, I cut it, and I lost like 390,000. And it sucks. It's one of the worst losses in my career. It is the worst loss in my career. In terms of how I felt about it, it was one of the worst feelings I've had in my career. And again, because it felt like I got completely swiped under the rug in terms of who I thought I was, right? Which was someone who's disciplined, someone who's consistent. And again, I can still be those things, but we're human.
Ever dreamed of trading like one of the Clovers? Well, it all starts with the right broker. Clover Trading and Centerpoint Securities have teamed up to supercharge your trading experience. By joining Unlock the Power of CP Edge exclusively with Centerpoint. We're talking top-tier trading tools worth over $6,000, all at your fingertips. Get ahead with real-time scanners, cutting-edge news, and a tailor-made trading journal. Experience trading like never before with superior short inventory, personalized support, and interest on your idle funds. Plus, you can get competitive pricing that fits your trading style. Ready to elevate your trading game? Click the Clover Trading link in the description below to get exclusive deals with Centerpoint Securities. Now let's get back to the content.
Now, where are the positives? How do we move forward? How have I, progressed since then? Okay. Well, the first part aspect is the fact that I cut it was great because the next day it went even higher to the high 2s and went as high as 4 and then finally got crash and burned back down to 1. Once it crashed back down to 1, the best thing I did is, over the weekend, I accepted my fate. I accepted it happened. There's no going back. I've lost that money. I'm not going to get it back. I faced the reality of things. But that allowed me to then reset, rethink, and okay, where is this going from here? Because again, everything I thought on this day ends up being correct, right? It's, as we speak, it's down to 31 cents. I just actually covered a short position that I took from 50 cents to 30 cents. But besides that, timing is everything. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter what I thought here, it was the wrong timing. And so once it finally died, now it was the right timing. I did get re-short in the, especially specifically most of my size on this day. In the all said and done, by the time it got back to the low ones, I had a mid ones to high ones average, looking for that breakdown of $1. Eventually they released earnings. I was awake for when they had their earnings released, so I wasn't, getting caught off guard in either direction. And then, it gapped down, faded huge, and I ended up covering into one of these bounces because it started following GME again for whatever reason. And so I covered and I made back, a little under half those losses. So lost 400, made back 150, 160. We're still 100 grand and change off of what once was. Now, I don't say that in the sense of I'm counting the law or the money back, I'm trying to make it back. The reality is that part of accepting it is that it's done. It's a matter of now just going back to your normal tried and true process to get back, no matter how long it takes. I don't care if it takes a month, 2 months, 3 months, the rest of the year. The point is, it's happened, and now I'm just getting back into the process of doing what I do best and just locking in gains as it goes. And again, in another whole other world where I don't take this loss, the actual final trade where the backside was in, and I did take that win from, again, call it the 160s to pretty much 50 cents or whatever, 160s to 60, full dollar a share, that was the true 6-figure opportunity that was really meant to be, not the one that I thought I wanted or thought I had it, confirmed, 1 a.m. in the morning. Again, timing's everything, and I was just way, way off. Beyond just the trading of itself, what is to come from here? Like I said, I've accepted it. It's in the past. I feel much better now. I know how important timing is. And again, the biggest thing is you don't even have to time it perfectly, right? Like I said, I made a 6-figure trade on the backside from just making pretty much $1 a share. Again, from 160 to 60 cents. I didn't need to get short so early on thinking I needed to be near the top. Not only did I need to be short here at 80 cents thinking that was the top, there was no rush for me to try to get short in the 2s or the 3s. This had so much upside that the amount of downside available for me didn't have to come at me being super early. That's the biggest lesson I can have going forward, is that and any runner, you just don't have to be early. In fact, you'd rather be late, right? I'd rather avoid the most dangerous part of the move, which is when this goes from $4 to $4. It's a complete night and day. You can clearly see where it goes straight up. And then ever since this day, it's gone nothing but straight down, practically. There hasn't been a single strong green day that even remotely looks close to the front side days it's had, right? So that's huge and important. The second thing is, obviously, I have learned I'm not as disciplined as I thought I was. So a broker stop where the broker takes it out of my hands in the events of me having, again, the perfect concoction, which FFIE was, that I can't stop my own self out. I have to have that backstop in. No ifs, ands, or buts. Still embarrassing for me to say that at this point in stage in the game, but you'd be surprised how many traders still don't have it. And some don't need it. Some are not aggressive nearly at all to ever lose that much. Me, on the other hand, I've been called before a closet degen, right? I can be so even keel, on pace, controlled, disciplined, and all I need is one little slip and I'm off the rocker, right? So that needs to be put in place. And then the last thing is just understanding how much size I really was putting on the table, right? Again, I said I had 400,000 shares of risk. And again, it led to about $1 share of upside in terms of I was short, so I lost $400,000. The reality is, if a play is going to be that good, it should offer risk reward that is worth it, right? If it's A plus, shouldn't it offer something like 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 1, right? Here I was in pre-market of FFIE here, shorting 400,000 shares thinking that it was going to make like $100,000. And again, if hypothetically, if I'd followed my max stop rule, the milk I was going to lose is 50,000. So again, give or take some slippage. So we're talking about a 2-to-1 trade here. What's so special about 2-to-1? Like, yeah, it's a positive risk reward, but is it worth risking 50 to make 100? I mean, yeah, if you're a huge big trader and your average loss is 50K, then sure, knock yourself out. But that's not who I am. My average loss is 4 or 5K, not 50. So I don't know what I was thinking that I had to take that much size to get a solid 2-to-1 trade. As if why I was only thinking 2-to-1 was the best thing. Again, if you're in a really solid trade and it ends up playing out like a very solid A plus setup would, which is what I thought a FFIE was, why shouldn't it offer a 5-to-1? 10-to-1, maybe even in some cases for some traders and some setups, 15-to-1, something big. And so going forward, I have to remind myself, I don't need to risk that much to make that much. I don't need to risk 50K to make 100. In fact, if the setup's that good, I probably only need to risk like 10 to 15 and make 10-to-1, make 7-to-1, right? Make 5-to-1. I have to remind myself, I can get so caught up in the greed that for some reason I just throw a risk reward out the door. I'm like, I don't care if it's 2-to-1. I want to make 6 figures. Ergo, 50K risk on the table. When it's like, if it's only offering 2-to-1, is it really asking for 50K risk? Again, in terms of how more escalated of a risk level that is in terms of dollars I'm willing to lose, it just doesn't make sense. I'm going to be and going to need to continue to be just that much more risk reward conscious when it comes to like, okay, well, how much are you risking? And it's like, if this really sets up, like, how much will that make you? And again, you never want to think about how much you can make over how much you can lose. How much you can lose is always first. But that's the problem, is that I also never really thought about, well, what does that mean I will make, right? I didn't put the full equation together. And so again, if the risk reward doesn't make massive sense for how good the trade can be or should be, then I probably shouldn't be risking that much. It's almost like a feedback loop, right? If I'm risking, say, if I want to risk 10K on some future play, but then I do the math of how much I think I can make and it's not even over 20 grand, I'm like, well, then is it even worth risking 10K on it? If I'm only gonna make 2-to-1, maybe not, probably not. So that conscious second kind of backstop in terms of just walking myself through that game plan or that thinking, I think is going to be a big help going forward. On top of all the things I said before, yeah, the loss sucks, but again, a little over a month later, I can tell you, I'm A-okay, I'm fine, I'm better for it. Of course, in the pits of it sucked, but again, we're still standing, we're still here. A long term, we're still up $5 million in trading profits. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you guys learned something. Make sure to like and subscribe, and hopefully you will never see this trading from me again. I certainly plan on it. So thanks so much, guys. I'll catch you guys next time.